Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I'm Gavin Courtney.
And good morning to you, Belize. How are you doing today, Gavin?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah.
It's a pretty nice morning.
It is a pretty nice morning.
Hoping that we have a little bit of better weather than it was yesterday.
What do you mean? It was raining in Belize City yesterday?
Oh yeah.
Really?
For most of the day until the afternoon.
Oh, we had pretty solid weather in the capital yesterday.
Most other places I found out.
Yeah, it was pretty cool though.
Yeah.
For the most part. Cool weather last night, cool weather this morning. So we'll see what the folks at the Met Service have to say about that later on in the show today. But we're getting into our what's buzzing for today. I want to start off with more of an international news, and this is just for those of you that haven't really been keeping abreast to what's happening in the world. But there was a giant, well, not one, two earthquakes in the region of Turkey and Syria in the Middle East between the early hours of yesterday, their time, so around 4 or so in the morning yesterday in their time. And at that initial count, persons were already experiencing the after, on screen, Malatya in Turkey, and they were experiencing a 7.7 quake. That was the first one, and they're still experiencing aftershocks when 9 hours later another earthquake hit in the south, closer to the border between Turkey and Syria. Yeah. And that in itself caused massive buildings to come down. I think about 2.5 hours or so, the update was over 3,000 persons. That was the death toll. And they're still, of course, doing search and rescue. You've had people deployed from the EU, you have people deployed from the UK and the United States, and even Ukraine that are deploying persons to go and help with search and rescue at this very moment.
Yes, this is of course a huge tragedy, and natural disasters on this scale are not, we haven't seen one for some time.
Yeah.
And it's of course very tragic, and as April said, confirmed dead, roughly 3,000 people so far, and they've been able to confirm
Actually,
also.
just about 3 hours ago, the death toll has been up to
5,000.
Yeah.
And based on the latest reports, at least 20,000 people have been injured so far in the aftermath. And as you saw, based on the images, the search and rescue efforts are still ongoing.
Yeah.
We've seen massive devastation to some urban areas. And, we're seeing things like buildings and infrastructure that being completely collapsed. In cases, even modern structures and even very ancient structures, as you know, that part of the world is home to very many treasures of the ancient world, which have now also been destroyed in both Turkey and Syria. And the efforts are ongoing to assist persons with their rescue efforts. And it is, as April said, an international effort right now. And we certainly want to send our best wishes to all of those who are affected.
Yeah.
It's certainly an extremely tragic circumstance. And, in moments like these, this is really where it counts, and everybody has to pull together to try to assist, because when tragedy like this strikes and it's truly beyond our control, I mean, the scale of the devastation is really hard to imagine, even just from these images, which are really only showing one, which is showing one city. but we know that these earthquakes have been very big. They're 7.7 and 7.6 respectively.
Yeah.
So though that's a very massive earthquake. So we will continue to keep you updated on this story.
7.8 magnitude earthquake, and with 285 aftershocks since the last earthquake has struck. And you know, in thinking about not just the devastation, but I look at a place like Syria that is still reeling from war zones. They're still reeling from migration. Aleppo was destroyed in 2016, 2015, and they're still reeling from that, just for an earthquake to come now in 2023 and just destroy it beyond all measure. So we are still hoping. There are still different countries deploying volunteers to assist. There are still countries deploying assistance, and I think that you have certain organizations that are soliciting help, and if anybody wants to volunteer to go and assist for search and rescue, they can do so.
Yes.
But you know, continuing our What's Buzzing and bringing it a little bit closer to home, Gavin, there was a headline that we started the newscast, I believe last week, Friday, with the tragic death of Nicole Apolonio,
yes.
right? And Polonio, sorry. And it was a very, I'm still trying to understand the details of her case.
Yes. And for those of you who weren't able to follow our newscast, the situation so far seems to be that Nicole Polonio allegedly experienced well, I will say a manic or a psychotic episode. We don't know whether it's not been officially confirmed, but the reports are stating right now that Ms. Polonio did have some sort of a mental illness and was undergoing and, well, experienced some form of an episode which may have been violent and may have been quite frantic. And in those circumstances, it seemed that that she was confined to her room by members of her family, and when she was in there, it seems that was undergoing that she was confined with chains, and to, I suppose, to control her in some way. But she was left in that room and in chains for over 5 days, and that led to her untimely death. And like April, of course, I have a lot of questions, and to read about something like this is certainly horrific, and we wouldn't want, you know, you wouldn't want to picture somebody having to die like that. So right now, I think that for us and everybody else who's now aware of this report, is certainly several questions are going on as to what happened and why things were done a certain way. And you know, I was thinking that it highlights that every now and again we have reported on incidents where persons with mental illness or I should say, the lack of, let's say, access to resources and adequate treatment for persons who are, you know, for persons who experience mental health, mental health episodes, or even just treatment of their condition on a daily basis. It shows you, because right now in a situation like this, you wonder if, you know, from beforehand, did she have enough resources to manage her condition? If, you know, depending on whatever it was, if she did have a condition. Second of all, even if she didn't, when she experienced this episode, the response by her loved ones is, again, were they adequately equipped to handle this? And it seems not. And then
yeah.
and then of course the actions taken with regard to actually chaining up somebody, leaving them apparently without food and water, as the report suggests so far.
Well, you know, Gavin, the fact is that they've already laid her to rest. And so we have more questions than we do answers. Dwayne did sit down with psychologist Dr. Amy Jex yesterday to ask about how you deal with persons with, you know, mental illness and instability and so forth. But the reality is that without seeing the patient, speaking to the patient, there could have been no proper diagnosis, right? So that is already one step too late. And the other thing that is a little bit tragic is that we don't know for sure what the pathologist had said after that the cause of death is allegedly asphyxiation, whereby, depending on a certain position, according to Dr. Martin Cuellar, Fernando Cuellar, sorry, Dr. Fernando Cuellar, how could he tell whether or not she was, if he had not seen her for himself, you know? So there are more questions than there are answers, and we don't have any public statement by that family to say whether or not she was a huge threat to herself and to others. So all we can say is that rest in peace, Nicole, and hopefully we do find some answer. She did leave 5 children, and this is more closure for them than for anybody else.
And also, you know, you rightfully said that at this point there are more questions than probably we're able to find answers for. You know, starting from the very beginning, what exactly happened during the days that she was confined, and then of course what was the actual cause of the death and the aftermath of that. And and right now the police have gone on record to say that they are doing an investigation. And they're going to determine whether any charges do need to be laid in respect of you know, persons who may have been responsible or involved at least.
And, you know, wrapping up our What's Buzzing, Gavin, and this is something that we have been talking about for the past couple of days, actually the past couple of weeks, and it's been necessarily what's buzzing in the political arena in respect to the victory of John Saldivar in Belmopan. He won by 901 votes against his candidates, Emil Torres and Colonel George Lovell. He is now the standard bearer for the UDP in the Belmopan area. And of course, you know, nobody can tell you more about his victory than the man himself, the man of the hour, Mr. John Saldivar. Of course, we have to once again congratulate him. I think that the 2 candidates, for being the first time in politics, you know, you have to give kudos to Emil Torres, you have to give kudos to Colonel Lovell for a good race. But you know what? Instead of me blabbering on and telling you all about his victory, in studio we have with us the man himself, Mr. John Saldivar. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you both.
And congratulations.
Good morning, Belize. Good morning, Belmopan.
Well, you know what, sir? You made just a couple of hours ago.
Not sure?
Yeah.
It feels like that, right?
And we did talk about, you know, what would happen if you win. You were very confident in your last interview. So talk to us about the general feeling now that you have officially become the standard bearer of.
Well, certainly the stress level has gone down. I feel very good about the outcome. I was very confident going in, indeed, because I've been riding this bicycle, as they say, for such a long time. I kind of know the people of Belmopan quite a bit, and they know me. Yeah. So I kind of knew where they were heading.
Yeah. Did you expect almost 2,000 persons to come out?
I had predicted between 1,500 to 2,000, so
okay.
It wasn't a surprise for me. Looking at the results that were coming from my canvassing reports, I kind of knew it was going to be a big showing.
And on the actual day, how was the feeling as you were seeing all the voters turn out and then waiting for the results?
Well, I must admit, during the day, with all the rumors about bacon houses and money, money
What is a
circulating.
bacon house?
Well, I heard the term for the first time from Jules Vasquez. So, but according to him, it's where people go and get the bacon. But when I heard that during the day, it was a bit concerning.
Well, I think the rumors, the alleged rumors were that, some of our news cast and cameras saw that there was a line, by a host that they were offering and they were giving out something. Now, we can't say what that something was because we didn't get any information, but what do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
Well, what I heard on the ground was that money was being passed to people to vote in a certain way. It's all over now, so I don't think we need to get into who was doing what. I was just bringing it up to say that during that day, if there was any time when I was concerned, it would have been when I heard that was happening. But during the day, I really realized that they wouldn't be able to get the numbers even through that effort to defeat me. So afterwards, I started to calm down.
What are your thoughts about your opposing candidates? What was the conversation like afterwards?
Well, even before, I thought it was good that we had some new faces getting involved. And now that it's over, I'm hoping that they will stay involved.
Okay.
I think they would be an asset to my campaign in Belmopan. And so I would like to invite them to join our team and be a part of it. And since then, yes, it has been good. Both of them have been gracious and have reached out. And so I believe that we can form a formidable team in Belmopan.
And so, with that said, what's the next step? What do you start to do now that you have this victory under your belt?
Well, it's still an uphill battle. There's no denying what took place in November of 2020 and the margin of defeat. So we still have to continue climbing that hill. And so there's a lot that we need to do. Reach out again to our people, reach out to the voters. We need to do registration, transfers, and the kind of stuff that you have to do in politics to overcome a margin such as the one that I was defeated by in 2020. And so putting all hands on deck, we have a lot of work to do, a lot of outreach.
You have officially squashed the rumors that you were going to run for party leader. Right now, you're focusing on just
my focus is winning Belmopan, and helping my other colleagues in the other parts of the country to win their constituencies. The magic number is 16 at this point, unless we have redistricting. But right now it's 16, and that's where we want to go.
Where do you see a new city council for Belmopan? Right now, we're not even municipalities are coming very, very soon, and so far we have not seen or heard of a city council for the UDP being developed in Belmopan.
Well, that is going to be a priority for us as we begin to hit the streets again, identifying candidates, identifying a mayoral candidate, councillor candidates, and hitting the streets, because our philosophy, at least in Belmopan, is we want to start early.
How do you seek out that talent? How do you start dividing?
Hopefully, with this matter now concluded on Sunday, people will come forward, and I'm inviting them to come forward, reach out, now that there's no doubt about who is the leader in Belmopan. Reach out to me if you want to be a part of the Belmopan City Council, because I have a feeling that there's going to be a big change at the Belmopan City Council come next year.
And as we move forward, as we know in all of the events leading up to the election, and before that really, how do you, or how's your plan to let's say bridge some of the gaps which may exist now within the UDP to let's say to repair any relationships which may have been fractured? And we know that you were not, let's say, the favored candidate by the current leader of the opposition. So how do you manage that moving forward?
Well, we always have to put things behind us, and we've got to learn to put things behind us. You won't solve problems if you hold on to grudges, malice, and that sort of thing. I am not the type of person that looks backward. I look forward, and I make that clear that I'm looking forward to a good relationship, certainly an improved relationship with my party leader, and I'm hoping that he's looking forward to the same.
Has he reached out to you?
I saw a missed call from him during the hustle and bustle of Sunday night, but we will speak eventually.
All right. So what, okay, I know you talked about moving forward, you want to create your city council. Are there any new mandates that you think that you would like to bring forward for the UDP? What are some philosophies that you think need fixing right now within your party?
I think in Belmopan and certainly in the rest of the country, there has been a deterioration in how we treat with the people at the bottom, if you want to call it that way, our poor people, our less privileged people. And if there's one thing I want to see change, is the institutionalizing of assistance to our poor people. I don't like the fact that they have to go to a politician to beg for help. I think that should be institutionalized so that you need help, you go there, you prove that you need help, you're worthy of it, you get that help, so that there isn't this fear. One of the things that was very disturbing for me on Sunday was the fact that many of our people, we probably would have had an even bigger turnout if there wasn't this fear factor that was being instilled, especially in our public officers and people who work in any area that's connected to politics. People just had a fear of going out to exercise their democratic right because of this scare tactic that was being used. I would love to see that change, and certainly for public officers, I would love to see a stronger section of the public service regulations that protect public officers' right to participate in our democracy at all levels, and not just at a general election or municipal election.
How do you think we can fix these issues? Let's start with the voters being afraid to come out and exercise there, right? What do you think needs to change?
Well, it was mainly with public officers, as I said, and so I think that the public service regulations need to be more clear on your rights, because this is a right. You know, in other places in the US, for instance, these primaries and caucuses that are held to select their candidates are official. Is a part of the official process of electing a president or electing a senator, or you know. So here it's just not a part of the official process, and it's frowned upon by many, and that's because of the political polarization. We need to make these conventions an official part of our democratic process. And perhaps even put it under the election and boundaries in terms of having them conduct these elections, so that we know that this is the beginning of the process of selecting your leaders.
There are approximately 8,000 voters in Belmopan.
9,200.
9,200. Thank you. And almost 2,000 came out to vote. So what are you going to, how are you going to establish yourself with those other 8,000 or 7,000 that are still on the fence?
Well, first of all, let us recognize that 2,000, just about 2,000 was a historic was a historic amount. I've been involved in Belmopan politics now for over 35 years, and I don't recall a convention that had more than that. Secondly, it had twice the amount of the last PUP convention, which was held just before the general election in 2020. So those are some historic numbers already. And like I said, with the fear factor that was there, it could have been even more. So yes, we need to reach out to the others who were not able to participate in that. And I have an organization and a machinery that is already going to be focusing on that. House-to-house visits have to continue. Those who we were not able to touch before the convention, which was quite a bit, because Belmopan is very big, as the numbers can tell you. So we weren't able to reach every house. We've got to do that. I certainly was not able to reach every house.
I know, I never see you.
And so I've got to, I've got to get down to making sure I reach to those other people, take the message out there. We've got to restart our community meetings that we used to have previous to 2020. And so the outreach, basically, we have to get to it.
I know it must be really exhausting, but I have to ask, how are you planning to overcome your controversies that you faced in the past, in the next few months?
Well, I have a feeling that Sunday should have been
right, but you still have the other voters to convince.
Should have been pretty much the last of it, and Sunday was a sample of Belmopan. So let us not think that the 7,000 people who did not come out will just suddenly reflect a different perspective than what came out there. 2,000 people coming out of a population of 9,000 is a significant amount, and I believe a reflection of how the population of Belmopan really thinks. So I would like to dispel that. I feel that most of Belmopan who are not already polarized, because you'll never get a PUP to accept that there was nothing there. But other people, as was stated by them in this convention, this is water under the bridge, I would want to think, certainly in Belmopan. Reaching out to the rest of the country will be a different thing, and I do intend to travel nationally to help my party and help my colleagues to bolster themselves in their constituency.
Yeah, and I guess in that same vein, I guess do you feel that you enjoyed then that level of confidence and trust in the people based on everything that's happened? Because let's say your political journey so far has been not without its speed bumps, right?
Right. No, well, I think, like I said, Sunday was a I think I said it on the show when I was here, that supposed perception that the media and others say was out there. Obviously, Belmopan did not share that perception of me, and they have a different perception of me. And let me just state this: if I was on some sort of trial on Sunday, the jury has returned a verdict of not guilty, and I think that is very clear.
And what do you think makes a difference then, or how are you able to overcome, let's say, what's said about you? You know, at many different levels.
Well, I will tell you this, the people of Belmopan know me. And so whatever story was being told about me from people outside of Belmopan who didn't know me, the media is in Belize City, they don't know me that much in Belmopan. I am happy that the people of Belmopan know who I am. I live among them. If I was this corrupt, and I like to put evil in there because corruption and evil goes together. If I was this corrupt and evil person, the people of Belmopan would have known that. They would have seen that. I live among them. I move among them. We meet each other every day. And so that is what this convention has said. Hey, we don't know the John Saldivar that the media is trying to portray. We know the John Saldivar that we live with. And that's what they came out to say. That's what they did on Sunday.
How do you plan to, now that you've officially won your place, how do you plan now to assist your party along other conventions like the one that?
Well, we are already having a planning meeting. Our group, you know, we have the caucus for change. We are already having a planning meeting over this weekend where we are going to be looking at all the other colleagues that are facing challenges. And we're going to move in just like we did in Belmopan. I don't know if you are aware, but my colleagues were in Belmopan every weekend, some of them for the last 5 weeks, you know, stomping the ground for me, reaching out to these houses, and it paid off, and we're going to be doing the same thing in all the other constituencies where our colleagues are being challenged.
Final words for our viewers this morning now that you have officially won your seat.
Well, it's a relief. It's certainly a relief, and I want to say thank you to our Belmopan, to my Belmopan friends and people for believing in me, because this is really what it was about. There were many people who did not believe in me, did not believe in my innocence, and there was no other way for me to prove that than to have the stamp of approval from the people of Belmopan, and that's what came on Sunday. And I'm hoping that even if it doesn't put an end, it certainly reduces significantly the view of others on me, because I continues to be, there's no evidence that has been brought out against me, and truth and facts have to mean something. Otherwise, we're going to have people manipulate the media, people manipulate the news, and create things about people just as they have created about me for their own selfish ends. And so let's put an end to that.
I know I asked for your final words, but I do have one more question just in line of what you said, because you're talking about your political party's move for a caucus for change. Is that the right move or the right fit for the UDP that is right now struggling to portray unity?
Well, that's the beginning of unity.
Okay.
Keeping this caucus together is the beginning of unity for our party, because if you can have 15, 16 leaders from our constituencies on one page, which is what we do with the caucus, it is not about disunity, it's about the others joining in. So if we have 17 of us, then the other 14 needs to join in, and that will be one UDP, and then we can say there's not just a caucus for change, there's one UDP, and all of us are on that page. And so I am hoping that by us staying together and showing the strength, demonstrating that unity is strength, because this unity is what is weakening us. So hopefully we can get others to join.
How do you plan to convince them? How do you plan to convince the other 14?
Well, I think what happened on Sunday was a good show of unity. And I think that others are already reaching out to me.
Have others apart from the party leader and the chairman reached out to you?
Many of my colleagues have already reached out, and I'm saying that even those that were not a part of the caucus have reached out, and I think they have seen the wisdom in unity, and so hopefully we can all come together and be one UDP. That's our aim. We are not here to divide the party, we are here to strengthen the party.
When you were talking about the unity for the party and coming everyone together, what are your thoughts about the current situation with the United Democratic Party and versus Patrick Faber?
Well, I am hoping, as I've said before, that Mr. Faber, Honorable Faber, would reconsider and join us once again, but that is up to him. That has always been on him. The party has not put him out of the party. The National Party Council made some requests of him as per our constitution, and he did not comply. And so that's the reason he's on the outside by his own choice. But I'm hoping that he reconsiders, and I'm hoping that our party leader and all the other leaders in our party will welcome him back if he would like to come back.
And on the issue with Sister B being absent from the House, she doesn't show up. How do we bring her back?
Well, I think that at least from the party perspective, we are moving on. We already are having a convention, I believe next month or so, to select a new standard bearer for Queen Square. So it is obvious that Sister B, is moving on, is retiring, and so I don't know that it's an issue that we should pay much attention to. Besides the fact that she continues to service her constituency, she has not abandoned her constituency, and that is key, because that's what we're there for, to represent our constituency and help our constituency. That has continued to happen in Queen Square.
If I am to decide to become a member of the UDP, why should I? What is the UDP offering that I should stand with them?
I think that we want, first of all, to always, in judging a political party or a political person, you look at the history. I think that our party has demonstrated in the 3 terms that we were there, much was achieved for our country, and that has come to a halt. We want to get back to where we were, whether it be infrastructure development, whether it be the advances that we made in social safety networks, which like I said, I think those need to be expanded. It was a good effort by our part to start boost and pantry programs, the educational subsidies, and expand NHI and that sort of stuff. But we need to continue that, and you need a party that's committed to doing that, and that is the United Democratic Party. We've demonstrated it before, and we will continue when we are able to be the government again.
But even with that said, we I guess still are in the reality of the House as it stands, with the UDP in a minority and the PUP with a very big majority, which shows at least as of the last election, confidence in the UDP, or public confidence was not there.
Oh, yeah.
And clearly mistakes were made. And so isn't it a question now of unity is one thing, but rebuilding the confidence and the trust from the public, and have you thought about how you will work along with the party to accomplish that?
Well, certainly, we've got to come up with our platforms, and I'm sure we are already working on those, whether it be in health, education, economy, all of those things. We've got to present that to the people, what it is that we are going to do to move our country forward. And I will certainly play an integral role in the crafting of those policies. And when they come out, you're going to see what they are and what our party stands for. But I think that yes, we made some failures. We failed in some respects. I've said it before, and I say it publicly. I believe that our response to COVID we thought that it was the best we could do at the time. The people thought that it was not enough, and so they went to that, I would call it pie in the sky promise of todos ganamos, because they didn't think they were winning. And obviously your physiological needs come first. So when you're not getting food, when you're unemployed and you can't put food on the table for your family, it is a very serious situation. And any government that's going into an election with that sort of scenario, 40, 50% unemployment, 60% poverty, it is tough for you to win an election. So conditions were very, very much against the UDP going into that election. And the people have given the PUP that opportunity to fix that. 2 years later, I don't know that they have fixed it, that they have been successful in fixing it, and the people are feeling that. The people are feeling the pressure. Inflation out of control, prices of basic food items continue to go up on a daily basis, and there seems to be no solution. I think the government has basically put its white flag up and surrendered and said we can't do anything about it because this is the situation out in the world, and I don't agree with that. There are ways to fix those very basic things. If the merchants, for instance, refuse to bring down their prices and continue to gouge consumers, then government needs to step in and fill that gap, fill that void, bring in the goods if that is what you need. Compete against the merchants who are gouging our consumers, and let them know, hey, if you don't straighten up, we're going to do it for our people, because we can't have our people continuing to experience the such high rise in the cost of basic goods, and so we need to fix that.
Final question from me, Mr. Saldivar. You have spoken some wild criticism on the government's recent decision of Mr. Khan in the country, and this is not just a government decision, but this is clearly a diplomatic issue with us, the United States,
probably
and
a quid
so
pro
forth.
quo. We need to know what the quo is.
Right, but notwithstanding your personal issues with the United States,
I have no issues with them.
Moving forward, how are you going to make these diplomatic decisions without any kind of political bias in the way?
But first of all, I think that they handled it wrongly. I think that it was in poor judgment and bad taste for them to have announced this to the nation when this fellow is already in the country and the deal has already been struck. Something as significant as this, and something that will have such an impact on at least the psychology of security, because whether you think or think not that this guy is going to have an impact, in the mind of the Belizean people, it changes the framework of our security psyche, how we feel. Do we feel comfortable when people are thinking, hey, his former friends and allies who are not happy with what he has done may come all the way to Belize to deal with him? And
but don't you think it's a lot more complicated? This is clearly more than a government decision. This is a diplomatic relationship that we have with the United States.
We've never caved in, and I must say that I'm proud of the last UDP administration and our leader, Dean Barrow. We never caved into this sort of the diplomatic pressure. There were several instances during our last administration when the U.S. asked us to do things which we thought we were, was not in the best interest. You remember the ship that had the infected person. We took some licks for that diplomatically, because how dare you say no to the U.S.? We've been there before. We should be able to say no to the U.S. when we feel that something is not in the best interest of our country. We have had votes at the various regional organizations and international organizations, votes concerning Cuba, votes concerning Venezuela, and other countries, other governments that the U.S. wanted to put pressure on, and they have come to us to ask us to vote along with them, and we have refused. You stand on your sovereignty, you stand on your beliefs, on your principles, and this is one case where, at the very least, the Belizean people should have been consulted, and then, let the people speak about how they feel, and I think this is affecting the psychology of our security, and that we should not put our people in a position where we feel that we are at risk for some sort of terrorist, action, on our soil.
Well, Minister, sorry.
No, you may.
Once again, congratulations on your victory. We hope to see good things come out of the UDP, because, as we will always say, you need a good opposition
Certainly.
to hold accountable to your current government administration. So, best of luck with your conventions to come, and we hope to see you on our couch.
And thank you for this platform. Thank you.
Wonderful. And as we move into our next segment for this morning, we are talking all about the weather, Gavin. We said that there was, slight chance of rain, slight chance of not, but the general situation is a relatively moist easterly air flow will prevail.
And over the next 24 hours, we are expecting sunny spells with some cloudy spells today and a few showers, mainly along the coast this morning and tonight. Inland, north this afternoon, and then conditions are going to be windy tonight.
And the marine conditions will be the winds will be coming from the east, 10 to 20 knots, becoming east to southeast to 15 to 25 knots with gusty winds, and the sea state will be choppy. There is a small craft caution likely to go into effect tonight. And our temperatures, our highs for this morning will be along the coast 84 degrees Fahrenheit, inland 88 degrees, and in the hills 78 degrees. Our lows are 78 along the coast, 70 inland, and 66 in the hills.
And as we head into the week, our outlook is that we are expecting a few showers to continue along the coast until Wednesday morning, and then they should become isolated by the afternoon.
And that is our weather forecast for this morning. Thank you to our folks from the National Meteorological Service of Belize for that update. And as we move into our show for this morning, Gavin, we have a jam-packed show for today, beginning with representatives from the Caribbean Export and Beltrade. They will be in to talk to us about the initiatives coordinated by the Caribbean Export to build resilience across the Caribbean in investments and exports.
And for our second conversation, the team from Smart is going to be joining us, and they're going to be talking all about Smart's new prepaid SIM swap. And they've also got some countrywide deals that are going to be coming up for Valentine's Day, and they're going to be talking all about it in our second segment.
And lastly, we're going to be having a Valentine cake challenge. They didn't tell me about this one, but apparently, Gavin, we're going to be decorating some Valentine's cake, and apparently they're going to select a winner, so we'll see who's better at cake decorating.
Yeah, so you don't want to miss that competition.
And of course, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
It's almost lunchtime and Alice is getting hungry and forgot to bring cash. She remembers that eCash now has a geolocation feature in which she can easily view the eCash merchants near her, especially restaurants. Her co-workers also ask her to order food for them.
Chicken chow mein, please, and a Coke.
The merchant sends her the payment link. She taps confirm, and within a few minutes, her food is delivered. Alice then views her transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made. Then taps the split the bill button, where she selects the unevenly option and moves the bar to the desired amount per person. The request is then sent to her friends. Her colleagues accept the request and are ready to enjoy their meals. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash make Alice's life a whole lot easier.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited postpaid plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Have you heard of the new MidDriver app? Let MidDriver get you to your destination safe, fast, and on time. MidDriver is an app for fast and reliable rides that are affordable and available 24/7. There is no more calling drivers, just pin your location you wish to go and drivers will respond within seconds. Whether you're traveling alone or with a group to the supermarket, a friend's house, a party, or wherever, there is a MidDriver driver waiting for you. Download our app and take your trip today.
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video, or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
It's him. He hit me again. Oh my gosh. This time it was worse. He slammed my face in the wall and threatened to kill me. If you or someone you know is experiencing family violence, call 0800 A Way Out. Or you can text or WhatsApp to 672-9628.
And welcome back. And if you're joining us right now, we have the representatives from the Caribbean Export and Beltrade. Joining us in studio, we have Mr. Deodat Maharaj, who is the Executive Director of Caribbean Export. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we have Dr. Leroy Almendarez, who is the Executive Director at Beltrade. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
gentlemen.
But also here in the capacity of the Deputy Chair of Caribbean Export.
Wonderful. So it's all about talking about coordination by Caribbean Export to build resilience across the Caribbean in investment and exports. So first of all, let's begin with why we have this partnership with Caribbean Export and Beltrade.
Well, good morning again, and let me just say that it's not really, it's a partnership, but it's really a partnership to realize a lot of the objectives across the Caribbean. Remember, we are part of CARICOM. We sign on to the CSME. The Caribbean Export, by nature, with trade and investment, what it does is for us to, not only build capacity, but together we can find markets, and rather than competing, we cooperate to find new markets. And you will hear from us, for example, we can boast about, you'll hear about Nalido, for example, and other industries, really that working together, it allows us to penetrate these markets. So belongingness, and it's a fair question, because if you belong to any organization, there must be benefits to membership. And so that's one of the things that we want to talk about this morning, and that is why the Executive Director, Mr. Maharaj, is here this morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Belize, and it's wonderful to be here in beautiful Belize. The Caribbean Export Development Agency is a regional organization with a remit for private sector development, and our job is to promote Caribbean trade globally and steer investments to our region. And why are we doing this? Because we recognize that business is a central engine of growth, and what is very critical for us in Belize and across the Caribbean is to create good jobs for our people and opportunities for our people. And this partnership with Belize is a very important one, because we work closely with Dr. Leroy in his capacity as the Deputy Chair of our Board of Directors. So Belize has a very important role in our governance arrangements, and also we work closely with the business sector in Belize to help them access the export market. So for example, Dr. Leroy spoke about Nalido, a company that's making organic turmeric, and which we have helped to penetrate the European market, to penetrate the market in Ireland. And guess what that does? It earns precious foreign exchange for Belize, and it generates jobs as well, where it matters the most, on the ground and in the lives of people.
And how do you let's say, reach out to find not only these products and also people willing to join with you all to let's say increase their capacity and export.
So that's why we have Dr. Leroy here. He's on the ground.
Okay. And fair question again, because Belize, for example, its mandate is it has taken on an export-led growth. In order to bridge the trade imbalances, for example, that exists. And that is why the government is now focusing on building economy through MSMEs. And with that, so once not only have we identified, but there are certain programs that come out of Caribbean Export, like the direct support grant, you have the DAG. These are these are grants that you can access. But of course, it requires that you send certain you send in your proposals, but the proposals must meet certain standards. And that's one of the things we want to talk more about, because, you know, really many times when we send in the proposals do not meet the standards, and so therefore, though we have access quite a lot through Caribbean export, there's still more that we can do. So let us say in the case of Nalido, and not only Nalido, because we were also talking about our chocolate and, you know, and different things that we can build upon. And as he said, to bring investment into the region. But when you bring investment into the region, remember we also have our priorities. And we were also talking about how do we package products and things like that, because that's investment. The foundation for export development is investment, because if you want to increase capacity, and of course having the capacity, the business sense, because sometimes that's the challenge, understanding how business works, understanding markets. And so at Beltrade, we have a unit called Export Belize. And so what they do, on the ground, they go out and assess you, looking at your standard operating procedures, find whatever gaps that may exist and work on those gaps, do the market research for you. But when we sit as a board, we look at the region, how it's going to benefit the region, and what we try to do is not to duplicate, like I said, certain things that we want to establish. So you look at comparative advantage. What are the products that you can produce much cheaper? Easier access to the market, so that when we package these we can take as investments, which is what we're doing, and we're going to assess more of these, package these products, and we go to different parts of the world and sell this, for example, to Saudi Arabia and Dubai at the Caribbean Investment Forum. So these are some of the things that we do. So on the ground, there are quite a number of other products, right? And because we're also, let me just say this here as well, some of the focus, because we're looking at women economic empowerment. There are also programs. We recently had a set of graduates through training from Sempromipe, that's in Central America. And what it does is to build that kind of capacity. But it's still to get the quota, because once you have these arrangements, they're quota driven, and quota must be met with standards and quality at all times. So that's the focus, aligned with all the other initiatives that the government presently has going on.
One of the things about the sad realities about MSMEs is that majority of the time they don't have the capacity or the resources to mass produce. And if they want to do that, they have to import resources.
Yeah, but
right.
Yeah.
So how do you then make that balance, right?
Yeah. I think continuing from what Dr. Leroy said, I mean, for us at Caribbean Export, we've supported like 500 businesses in Belize, okay? 65% of whom were women entrepreneurs. Yes. Just for the record.
Yes.
But we also recognize that for countries in the Caribbean, potential exporters and existing exporters, it's more about a premium product for a premium market at a premium price. Quite frankly, we cannot mass produce like a China or an India or an Ethiopia or Ghana or Indonesia or Korea, small countries. So it's that premium product, that premium pepper sauce, that premium rum, that premium organic turmeric for a premium market fetching a premium price. That is like an important mechanism on how we must think and how we must work. Also, the micro, small and medium scale enterprise sector is absolutely critical to the development agenda of all countries in the Caribbean. And the reason why is because over 70% of the region's GDP is generated by the MSME sector. Over 60 to 65% of total employment is generated precisely by the same sector. And I think a country like Belize certainly recognizes this. And Dr. Leroy was telling me just yesterday evening about a special initiative I think you all are launching on Friday to also provide further support to this particular sector, given its importance. Because if a particular sector is accounting for 70% of the GDP, it's logical to provide support, right, to that sector rather than focus on the 30% which would already have financing, would already have market access, would have good capital as well, and would have technical know-how.
Let me just add, speaking on the initiatives. On Friday, we're launching, and we have a mobile and fixed incubator. And basically it's think about a butterfly. You know, that whole stage it goes through from pupa to butterfly. It's the same kind of transformation. So what you do, you take a startup. And so in this incubation center that we'll be launching, you'll have, you know, they'll have access to computers and have access to, we also have something called a virtual knowledge center. But here is where you can come, you can learn, you can get business methodologies to see how it works, how the market works, who exists in the market, and how you can access different products. You know, these are the kind of things. So that's a fixed one. Then we'll have a mobile one. So we converted a van, and this van will be going to different parts of the country to reduce costs to those who might have to come to Belize City. We will go to them, and they can come in and understand. We have this van, it will be run by solar, it will have internet and all of that. Another thing, on last week Friday, you would have heard in the House that the fiscal incentive bill, the revised one, was passed. That's a big move, because what the government did, or what happened here, was an incorporation of MSMEs. And so MSMEs are incentivized, and this will allow them to produce even more, because what they will do is they will have duty-free or exemption, custom duty exemption for up to 4 years and up to $1 billion. So this reduces their costs. The cost, as you mentioned, inputs to a large extent. Supply chains for us, you see how it was disrupted during the pandemic because most of it was imported. But there were a lot of pivoting as well, where domestic supply chains were created. So it shows us the creativity of our people. Forced to do so, we were able to do so. So that bill itself, incorporation of MSMEs, will provide an even greater opportunity, because one of the objectives of that is formalization. Too many businesses, we don't know where they are, what they produce. But if you formalize the benefits under this act and the benefits from other MSME initiatives, these are things that you can access to grow. And it helps us. We might, individually, we might not be able to meet quota, but 4 of us combining our outputs, we can meet quota, we can conform to standards, and we can have that checklist to make sure that whatever is packaged and exported, that it meets the, the standards of those importing markets.
And that was actually going to be my question about standards, specifically about how they're established, for a particular product, and how the importance of maintaining that. So when we're looking at standards, what are we talking about?
So if I may, so that's why we have like training programs at Caribbean Exports. So we have a ProNet program. And we do a lot of work in helping Belizean and Caribbean companies access the European market. And they have very stringent standards. So we work with exporters. We do this ProNet training program to build capacity on understanding what are the phytosanitary requirements, what are the packaging requirements, what are the labeling requirements, what are the import and local content requirements. And that training and that capacity building has to be done day in, day out, over an extensive period of time. Because remember, we spoke about earlier about a premium product for a premium market at a premium price. But you have to meet those standards, and those standards are oftentimes rigorous. So it's a lot of kudos to Belizean companies who have been able to penetrate these standards, these markets, given the very high standards that exist in those markets. But to my mind, to create jobs, to earn foreign exchange, right? You have no option, because they're not going to change the standards. But what it means, you have to work day in, day out on a very systematic basis over a long period of time to build that capacity to get precisely the result that we want, which is about foreign exchange for Belize and the Caribbean. It's about creating jobs for our people.
And if I could just add, sorry, April, but just to add that in Belize we also have a Standards Advisory Council. So that's where we look at the different standards, because each product will come with its own standards. The other mentioned packaging and labeling. That's very important, in the past, if you take up one of these products, I won't say from which country, you will notice they will say exceso, azocar, those kind of things, because it tells you must put it there. In the Caribbean, you also have CROSS-Q, the Caribbean Regional Organization for Standards and Quality. And so therefore, once you conform to these, because it means that you must to conform to these, there are certain really measures, assessments that you need to go through. So having those things and being a part of it, and then of course across the Caribbean, because you hear about Caribbean export, but it doesn't work in isolation. because there's regional synergies. There's a CARICOM secretariat, and the other here has more contact, with them, because as Caribbean Export Executive Director, you have contact with all of these different countries, and so when we meet, these are the things that we can discuss.
We have a gentleman last week that is, starting, I think, a pepper business, right? He sells pepper, and he did mention that he can't get his pepper out to the market because he doesn't meet the requirements or the standards. Particularly, he needs to have it in a glass bottle, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Given the fact that Belize and the rest of the world is gearing towards a sustainable manner of goods and exchange, how are you all training these MSMEs to keep within certain standards while also adhering to the sustainable laws that Belize is currently going?
Very important, and that's why what we do at Standard as our Small Business Development Center, that's where we deal with our MSMEs. And so when we talk about this incubator, because when you come into us, we start to assess you from concept. We help you to conceptualize. We help you to develop business plan. We know what the market requirements are, so there must be immediate conformity. The other thing we must be mindful of is know when a market is saturated. You don't send people into markets where there are no profits anymore. So because markets do mature and decline, so these are the kind of things that happen. And then, like I said, there's synergy within Beltrade, because from SBDC and working with our export Belize, in fact, they put out catalogs, and you'll find out that not only with these catalogs, but with the standards, that research is done for you. We now have market intelligence and economic research capabilities as well. That's at Beltrade. So all of this research is done for you, free of cost. And I like to repeat, they say there's no free lunch. But the thing is now, once it's there, now we can work with you. This is the product that you want to do. These are the standards there. Here is the gap, and assist you with then putting in your standard operating procedures and finding out what those market requirements are, because different markets have different requirements. Whatever you're exporting, the market will have the requirement, and once you don't meet them, it will not enter there. And that is why we always say there is market access, but it's what gets entered into that market that generates the kind of foreign currency that you're talking about.
And if I may just make one point to complement what Dr. Leroy said. So that work is really important. And where we help as well, in addition to training, is we help take firms to the market. So we do research on market opportunities in the UK or the European Union. And Belizean companies, we have helped take Belizean companies to market to export their products. You spoke about hot sauce. I think Hot Mama's Pepper, now called Sadie's Company or something like that. We have provided support to them. We've provided support to the Belize Chocolate Company as another example. But I think the key for our business sector going forward is that we need to focus on sectors, and we need to focus a lot on initiatives that could drive transformation. So we need to support businesses, especially with digitalization, technology, and innovation. So there's Amazon. Everybody knows about Amazon, but where is the Caribbean Amazon? So we actually have an initiative at Caribbean Export, the virtual e-commerce accelerator platform, which gives Belizean businesses and other Caribbean businesses the opportunity to have a platform to profile their goods, and therefore, without spending a lot of money, to exponentially increase the market size or market possibilities. So that notion of our businesses entering e-commerce and digitalization and technology is absolutely critical. And what is the reality? The reality is that the overwhelming majority of Caribbean businesses don't have a website. And I know for many it may not be possible, so I accept that, okay? But you need to enter that age, because a lot of Caribbean farmers, for example, at the height of the COVID crisis, and it was so delightful to see, they were selling lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers online. And that's a transition we need to make, and that's something that we are committed to at Caribbean Export, to help take our business people to that next level.
We have a lot of MSMEs and mom and pop shops that, they're based in certain areas, certain rural areas, like Brett mentioned, they don't have a website and so forth. But I like that you brought up Nalido, because even though Nalido is I wouldn't say it's popularly known in Belize, but it's popularly known globally.
Globally, correct.
So how do you then use Nalido as an example for other MSMEs that are from rural areas to, expand their business to that range that they could get to other countries and to other parts of Belize?
Let me say this, April, and indeed, very good question. I think people know Ms. Omida more than they would hear about Nalido, and they don't make the connection, but the connection is there. As a matter of fact, she was in Paris. I think her products are now in Germany, but persistence, that's a word that has to be used. She has been persistent. And so therefore, working along with her, and if you notice, she's always engaged. Now, let us take Toledo as a district. There are several programs now that are being used to build different parts of the country. And I, really, the CEO would speak more about that. But there are programs now to work in Toledo, to build Toledo. And we were talking about this recently, and we said, you know what? We tend to export the bean, the nibs, that's the intermediate product, but we have some of the best our chocolate is good. Yeah. A lot of, even Switzerland's chocolate, its inputs are not from Switzerland. And so therefore, these are the kind of things that we're looking at. Recently, we had a visit from Belgium, and again, they were talking about chocolate. Sometimes what it requires is the reduction of fare. As you know, sometimes you're fair to expand, fair to invest. But also to add the mechanism, what will help them to, to further process, greater efficiency in that. Those are the kind of things that we're thinking about. So you will find out that Toledo as a district with its very diverse nature, as Belize is diverse, can then also contribute even so much more. We have train of trainers. Again, you have MSMEs who are trained there. They can continue to work with others, but you will see a lot coming out from there. There is focus on Corozal as well. At times it was said it had one of the highest unemployment. There's focus there on redesigning, especially now with its proximity to Mexico through Chetumal. So that becomes something that has to be looked at. One of the sectors that we are focusing a lot on is business process outsourcing. And so outside of government, it's the largest employer. And so therefore, with its great diversity, now you have knowledge processing. I mean, they were just call centers. That's no longer the case, because you can go up that value chain and develop the kind of skill sets. You can actually do export software development by working through them. So there's a lot of opportunities. But what we are working on, and one of the projects we're launching right now has to do with building capacity, skills gap assessment, because investors want to make sure that there are specific skills that are required. Those skills have to be built. Academia has to be included in that, because it's not about producing what you want, but what the market wants. So that relationship is very important. And then, of course, getting some of the best practices from the Caribbean through Caribbean export. That also helps, because we help each other. Yeah. What works for me, I don't need to reproduce it. It doesn't cost them another country anymore to do the same thing. I have gone through the pains of growth. And so that assists quite a lot. So that's what we're doing, creating all of these synergies.
And do we also, talking about different markets, what about building, let's say, regional partnerships? And is that also an area that Caribbean Export looks into in terms of, let's say, getting product from Belize to, let's say, Trinidad or vice versa, things like that?
So precisely, and that's why I spoke about this virtual e-commerce accelerator program for exporters, so that we have a better idea of the products that are on offer across this region of ours. Because what is the reality? The painful and the sad reality is that we import most of our products from out of the region, even though it may be in the region. Yeah. Okay? And therefore, one is knowing what is available in the region. That's one. Secondly, as what Dr. Leroy said, is creating those synergies across the value chain in the Caribbean. I mean, there are also immense opportunities. Take, for example, tourism, if I may. Dr. Leroy and I were talking about this just last night. The Caribbean, when we think market, we think small. We think we're small countries. We think that we don't have enough market size. But what's the reality? When you look at the Caribbean community, with Haiti, we're looking at a market size around 14 million. We have a free trade area with the Dominican Republic, so that brings us to like 28, 29 million people. Then In 2019, before COVID, we had a record number of tourism arrivals, over 30 million tourists coming to the Caribbean. Okay, so think about that market size. We're talking close to 60 million people.
Yeah.
So Belize now, as a place that can produce a lot of fantastic agricultural products, to send to Barbados, which imports everything. And they have over 1 million tourists coming to Barbados every single year. High-end tourists who would pay whatever is the price, okay? Yeah. And therefore, creating those synergies are absolutely critical. So lettuce from Belize, or cucumber from Belize, or tomatoes from Belize, or eggs from Belize can fill a massive gap, creating jobs and opportunity for Belizeans. So that is precisely what we need to push more, generating that intra-Caribbean, intra-CARICOM
But
trade.
how do we do that in terms of availability, viability for the product to sustain the export, the cargo route? Barbados is very far to the end of the Lesser Antilles, and I think we had the Brokers Association here, and that's one of the things they said from Barbados: we want Belize's greens.
Yeah, Mandela said it's impossible until it's done.
Okay.
Okay. So that's one. But I think that I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, so I went to Brody's grocery yesterday, and there are a lot of products from Trinidad and Tobago in Belize. Yes. Okay. How did that happen? I saw Appleton rum in Belize. I mean, how did that happen? So the key is to facilitate those business-to-business contacts and those business-to-business connections, and to link with a Trinidad and Tobago company or a Barbadian company who is already in Belize, because they already have good connections and networks. There are issues. Right? It's not going to be easy, obviously, but for good things to happen, a lot of hard work is required. But it has to happen exactly as what Dr. Leroy said. Day in, day out. It takes hard work, it takes effort, and it takes sustained effort. And is it Nalido you said? Persistence?
Persistence.
Yeah.
Persistence.
We're talking about creating these relationships. And one of this has always been my question: why is it that we always have to go through a different country? Why do we have to go through the United States in order to export directly to? So what is it? Is it because we're not manufacturing enough resources? What are the issues that we can?
One of the biggest challenges we face, is transportation. When I remember going, I don't know, when you go to Guyana from Belize, you leave from here on Friday and you get there Sunday night. Meaning you must overnight in Miami.
Yep.
Why? Because remember, once we had some Caribbean Airlines, well, we still have one, but we don't have any that flies directly from Belize. So that's a part of the problem. Now, under CARICOM, if you sign on to that, there are certain fees that you would have to pay. So if you have an airline for the Caribbean, then who pays for that?
Yeah.
Because you have to make sure then that you have ridership and the prices and things like that. So those are things you have to look at. Of course, that's air, but you also have land and sea. And so one of the things that we're focusing on, because your port facilities, those are things that can be worked out as well, that you can reduce the time. Because the longer it takes, then you have to look at storage and all of those things. So that's one of the things we need to fix in the Caribbean, and we still continue to focus on that. But of course, Belize, you say we're the bridge.
Yes.
So we have to use that bridging literally in order to ensure that some of these things can also be, can create greater benefits for us through Central America. That's another relationship that we have to explore. And bringing Central America and the Caribbean, these are things that we're working on as well, because I've spoken to Deodat about that. So, some of these challenges, they are not impossible. And as you said, Mandela said, it's only impossible until it becomes, but nothing, and I think if we turn these challenges into opportunities, and countries can see how each person benefits by putting in some part of it, the benefits will exceed the costs.
Yeah.
Then these are the things that we have to look at.
We're talking about, and I know the time is really running out, but notwithstanding these relationships, we've had the war at Ukraine, we've had COVID, we're still reeling from a massive global inflation. So how do you convince your MSMEs to invest in themselves, or invest in their business, to grow and expand with all of the basic everyday challenges.
You know, the reality is that there's no free lunch out there. That's one. Secondly, as Caribbean people, nobody's going to do us any favors, okay? So we have to learn to be masters of our own destiny and to stand on our own 2 feet, okay? So that's second. Thirdly, so over 65 to 70% of the region's GDP come from the MSME sector, and therefore they can be the engines and drivers of growth. So the opportunities are actually immense. Dr. Leroy spoke about, being the bridge between Central America and the Caribbean, and it leads me to Mauritius. Mauritius is an island, okay, that in the Indian Ocean, and it serves as the bridge between Asia and Africa. For the Asians, it's an Asian country. For the Africans, it's an African country, and they are benefiting massively in terms of services, in terms of trade, in terms of serving as a transshipment point, or as Dr. Leroy said, the bridge between the Caribbean and Central America. So there are opportunities. Of course, the road isn't easy, but what we know for sure is that for us at Caribbean Export Development Agency, we are committed to supporting our micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises day in, day out, to access new markets, to build their capacity, and to enter a challenging but an exciting new world of opportunities.
Final words for our viewers for your today.
Well, from me, it's basically to say to MSMEs, there are so many different opportunities that exist. The government has introduced so many different initiatives. Like I said, the bill. You have Small Business Development Center. You hear about training from other entities as well. And then you have the Caribbean Export, where you can access these grants, but not only that, capacity building. It brings you even closer to external markets. So all we need to do is to take advantage of these opportunities, reduce the fear. You cannot succeed without taking some kind of risk. And that would be my encouragement, and to know that we are here to provide that support. In my case, through Beltrade, and again, sitting on the board or being on the board of Caribbean Export, that again allows an even greater opportunity for us.
Yeah. And for us, we value this partnership with Belize. And at Caribbean Export, we understand what matters most is not having an esoteric discussion, but creating results and supporting businesses where it matters, on the ground and in the lives of people. And we are committed to this agenda.
Dr. Almendares, Mr. Maharaj, thank you both so much for coming.
Thank you so very much.
Morning. And before we take our break, Gavin, we have a new feature on Open Your Eyes here every Tuesday. We have Transformation Living by Annalyn. And every Tuesday
morning,
yes, we're going to be having this this debut all about healthy living, how you can live a positive lifestyle. And this week's feature is all about how you tackle trauma. So here's that debut now.
Good morning, Belize. I'm Adeline Apollonia. I'm your Friday night anchor here at Channel 5, and I'm also an educator. Some of you may know that I have a long history with sports and fitness. It is something I'm very passionate about, not just because it keeps me fit, but it helps me maintain my physical and mental health. I have seen the benefits of a healthier lifestyle and want to help others to do the same. So starting today and every Tuesday here on Open Your Eyes, I'm going to be helping you to make transformations of your own. I'll show you Belizeans who have made their own transformations and give you expert advice on making healthier changes in your own life. Our first topic for transformative living is about dealing with trauma. Trauma has many faces, shapes, and forms. After experiencing traumatic events, many people find that their sense of self has been bludgeoned and their relationships with others become collateral damage. While responses to trauma are unique to each person and shaped by their personal experiences, most people seek a medium to vent their discontent as they process their emotions. One such person is mental health advocate Demi Williams, who used social media to share her truth and garnered support from others who could relate to her experiences.
Trauma, I would say, was the insidious best friend I adopted at a very young age. It's shaped my entire life. Trauma is why I became who I became. It's why I am who I am, for better or for worse. I guess I'm one of those persons who could say, if these horrible things did not happen to me, I wonder who I would have been. But I don't look in the mirror hating what I see either. It makes sense why all those things needed to happen to get to where I am today. Before you could go to anybody, you have to look within yourself. If you can't face it, then you can't express it. You need to sit with yourself. You can't always mask your pain with going from relationship to relationship, friendship to friendship. You basically just take what a time from yourself where you need to just retreat inward. If it means go to bush, if it means that you just don't want to go out on weekends, you just want to stay home, take that time, sit with your pain. If you sit with your pain long enough, it will begin to tell you its name.
This is a familiar pain for musician Alexander Evans, whose trauma manifested in his struggles of feeling like he would never be good enough or worthy. For Alex, his healing was a process of unlearning these feelings by being less reactive and less judgmental towards himself.
A lot of times, with most people, we feel something, and we feel something that makes us uncomfortable, whether it's sadness, anger, grief, jealousy, which are all very human emotions and are part of the human experience. But because it makes us uncomfortable, we react by stigmatizing that emotion. I don't want to feel this way, and so then it all becomes about the reaction and about our judgment towards ourselves, because we judge ourselves for feeling the way that we feel. And then in doing so, we're unable to actually feel and process the emotion and take from it what we're supposed to learn from it, or what we take from it what it's trying to tell us. So by learning to be less judgmental and less reactive, I've been able to really just accept myself a lot more for who I am. I've been able to show up more as my most authentic self, which is constantly evolving and changing. And in doing so, I've also been a lot more able to intentionally cultivate space for others around me to freely express themselves, to be their most authentic self, and to feel safe and free from judgment.
So if you're working on yourself.
Mental health consultant Dr. Michael Medina uses psychology, his spiritual knowledge, and his medical experience to shed light on new perspectives that ultimately lead to happiness and holistic transformation. He asserts that trauma strips us of our power as it modifies our brain structure.
Trauma is something that impacts the person that is not a common thing of everyday life. So or it could be something also very subtle that happens over time. But the whole point of trauma is that we're in a position where we're powerless, we have no control, and as a result impacts the brain, such as modifying the brain, changing brain structure. One of the results of trauma is fragmentation of the mind, right? So the healing is very simple to say, right? But it's complex to do, which is to integrate back again the person. So the person going through trauma, whether it's different events, like maybe a sexual assault, or it may be something sustainable over time, like emotional neglect. Either way, the person, as a result, their mind is fragmented. And as a result of being fragmented, the person ends up in a position where they don't feel love for themselves. They always feel this void, this emptiness. So the healing is to work towards this person, towards love of self, to integrate themselves, their mind and body as one. Trauma causes fragmentation, and healing is working towards integration.
This integration requires one to confront their past to allow room for healing.
If you don't really connect your past and you understand your traumas, you're not going to understand what you're going through in the present moment, right? And you're going to be lost. You're going to be caught up in that cycle of chasing love, I would say, and feeling that you're not getting it, and you get into one relationship to the next, and it never ends because you believe that it's in the outside, but actually the problem is in the inside. You need to fix inside. You need to integrate yourself, right? Heal yourself before you can really have a healthy and loving relationship with somebody else. Most of us, we try to fix ourselves, and there's a limit to that. And when you get a view from somebody else, it helps you to come out of that box, right? Because it's like the mind trying to heal the mind. So that's why we suffer as human beings. It's one of the most difficult things in the world is to change, right? A lot of people are frustrated, women that are frustrated with their partner because they don't change. Man, changing is difficult. So I do believe in external help, but I also believe that the person herself or himself have to make the most effort, and it's a constant daily process.
Therapy was a huge step for me, and that's not something we like to talk about here in Belize, because in Belize, you don't have to tell nobody your business. There is this shame that's attached to it. But I think the greatest decision I ever made for myself was going to therapy, making that quote-unquote long walk down the hallway, and it changed my life. I would tell my younger self that I will do everything to protect you now. I am doing everything in my path to protect you now. I identified that she didn't feel very protected. And I wanted her, because I had to have these conversations with my inner child through therapy. I wanted her to finally realize that I'm at a point where I am capable of protecting us.
Evans, who has also explored conventional talk therapy, believes that other men should embrace this introspection for the greater good of society.
A quote that I love to reference is from Bell Hooks, where she says that the first act of violence that the patriarchy demands of men is violence against self, in the form of the psychic self-mutilation of basically cutting out the part of ourselves that is responsible for emotion, that is feeling. And if we as men, or if we as boys don't do that, we're constantly reminded by other boys and other men and other people around us that it is not manly to feel, it is not manly to have emotions. Don't be too proud, or don't try and hide or run away from the fact that we've all experienced trauma, and it is up to us to figure out how to heal from it. I would highly encourage each and every person to seek healing, to seek that peace and that respite from trauma, and it will, I think, significantly impact the way we love ourselves and the way we love each other.
Evans will continue to advocate for men's mental health, among other issues, in his upcoming podcast entitled Man Up: Uncovering and Embracing Positive Masculinity, which will be launched later this month. Mental health professionals are available at public clinics across the country and a few private clinics. You can also contact the Mental Health Association for referrals to a counselor or therapist. Tune in next Tuesday for another look at transformative living. I'm Annalyn Apollonia. Have a great day, Belize.
second conversation, well, third actually conversation for this morning started. And as we mentioned a little bit before the break, we are joined now in our studio by representatives from Smart, and they are going to be telling us all about some hot deals that they have coming up. Some sweet deals. Because you know Valentine's Day is coming up. Joining us in our studio, we have Adelaide Savira, who is the marketing supervisor for Smart, and we also have Kavani Penner, who is a product development manager. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having us. Well, like you said, we're here to discuss the sweet deals that we have ongoing for the month of February. We're in the month of love. One of the slogans that we've always had for some time now is "Smart the Love," and we are. Right. Every time we come to the media, we bring the sweet deals. Summer, we bring the hot deals, and so we've opened the month with an invitation where we are inviting those who are not Smart customers as yet to get on board with us and be Smart. We have extended, I think in January we offered this promotion. We are extending it because there is a demand for it. There are people who want to test out what we have to offer, and so they are allowed. If you are with the other guys, you are allowed to do your SIM swap. Come in and do a SIM swap. Now, SIM swap is something we've always offered. However, this time about, we are offering it a little bit sweeter, where you will trade in your DigiSIM for a Smart SIM, a free Smart SIM, and that will be gifted with 2,000 megabytes of data, 500 SMS, and 100 minutes of talk time for free for the first 2 months.
What?
Right? So normally I think in the past when we've done a SIM swap, you get like $10 credit or maybe 100 SMS. Well, we've boosted it completely, and I'll repeat that again. You get 2,000 megabytes of data, 100 SMS, 100 minutes of talk time, and 500 SMS. Right? And you get that for free with your free Smart SIM for 2 months. Right?
What's the catch, Adelaide? Come on.
The catch is just trade in your SIM.
Just
trade in your SIM and enjoy what we have. And yes, it's for only 2 months, but after 2 months, you know, I'm sure you would have had the experience of what it is to be Smart. You'll be more acquainted with the little short codes and how to buy data and how to use your primary and your promo credit effectively. And it is our hope then, and I think the trend has seen that some of those customers do stay, right? So that's the first sweet deal for Valentine, and then we go into the devices that get a little bit sweeter. I mean, it's not just the discounts on the phone, but what they come with.
Yeah,
so
and the SIM swap can be combined with the device sales. So if you want to make your deals even sweeter, you can trade in your SIM and you can also get your new device. And we have devices in all ranges, all budgets. We have a flip phone that you can give to those people that don't need much, or your grandma, maybe your mom that's not technologically savvy. We have a Samsung A13, which, you know, for those people that want a bit of a higher end phone, they have a budget, that would be a sweet deal for them. So we have all ranges, all budgets, and we are advertising right now a select few phones. But we also have several other models for those people that may want to spend more or may want to just maximize their budget. And what makes these deals even sweeter is that it includes promo credit, it includes data, SMS. So we're setting you up to enjoy your phone for the initial days, not having to worry about credit. You know, you may have spent all your money on buying these devices. So now we have you set up for a month at least so that you can enjoy this device. And this deal is even sweeter because we have a raffle going on in February. Once you buy a device in February, you can receive a raffle to get a getaway for 2 at Key Cocker. So, you know, you might want to buy your Valentine new phone for
yourself and a phone for your loved one.
And then you'll also, you know, you get that chance to also win that getaway.
So one of the first things I ask them is, "What do you give me?" Right? And then they give me a lot.
And just to emphasize on the Key Cocker getaway for 2, that's at our expense. not
Yes.
yours, right? So we are facilitating the
trip.
I think it's a Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night, a 3-night stay at in Kikaker, as well as your transportation round trip from Belize City to Kikaker and back, as well as some spending cash for you to have out there. I mean, you can't take your loved one out there and not take them to breakfast and dinner. So we will be providing some cash for you to have out there, so you know, go out right after MAGA season and trying scraping up everything for February, right? You'll have some extra dollars in your pocket on that getaway. And one thing that that was on the flyer too, normally a SIM, if you're not trading in and you just want to purchase a smart SIM, it's usually $15, right? If you purchase a device during the month of February, you get that SIM for only $5.
Wow.
And if you're trading in a SIM, then you can buy a phone and trade in your SIM and get a free SIM. Right, so there's so many options, budget friendly for everyone, and like Kavani said, every device you purchase comes with talk time, credit,
200 megabytes.
and data, and the more you spend, obviously, the more you will have at your disposal to use on those devices. I think the higher the cost of the phones, the more credit, the more data, more SMS it comes with.
And are these deals going to be countrywide too?
They are countrywide.
Yes, they are countrywide from the 1st to the 15th. So you can
So don't
take
start
advantage
already.
of it. Yes.
Wow.
And this is something that we have a device for everyone. So if you want to buy your grandma a phone for Valentine's, we have a flip phone, we have other feature phones. If you want to buy your girlfriend, whoever you might want to buy, we have different tiers of devices. If you have a mini budget, we can
And not
suit
just the
you.
girlfriend, because the girlfriend might want to buy something for the boyfriend too, right?
Exactly. So we have a wide range of devices and a lot of models. Not because we advertise select models on our flyers means we don't have other devices. You can always come in, check out what we have. And if we don't have something and you really want it, you know, we may be able to accommodate you.
And just one more time about the raffle. How can they get a chance to win? How do they enter?
Purchase of any
device.
All they have to do is purchase a device.
Just buy one, you automatically get
right
in the raffle. And when do you draw the raffle?
It will be right after Valentine, right after the end of the sale.
So I have to get my weekend getaway after Valentine's.
Well,
so if my boyfriend come up to me and be like,
it just shows
we
that
can get away
Valentine is
because he
next
wins the smart.
Tuesday, I believe. I believe it's next Tuesday, so you can celebrate Valentine all week and end the weekend after Valentine with a big bang. So it comes with a plus, extending Valentine for yourself. And then one more thing on the flyer sale is the house MiFi. I just want to kind of stress that a little bit because I've been personally getting a lot of questions and calls about that. How does it work? A MiFi is basically similar to your modem that you have at home. It's in a layman's term kind of way. Wherever you go, I mean, it's a small device. It's smaller than your phone. I think it's definitely smaller than my phone. It can slide right into your pocket, into your knapsack. If you're in your car and going on a road trip, you know, you can put it in one of the compartments, and everybody around you or yourself can connect to that Wi-Fi just as if you connect to your MiFi, just as you connect to your modem at home via Wi-Fi. So it's very handy. It's a very handy tool. And for some of you who may be asking and watching the show, I use it a lot when I go on the road, right? I have a daughter, she's in the back, she wants to watch YouTube. Instead of using my data on my phone, I conserve. There's data on the MiFi, and she's able to connect to that. I'm able to connect to that, and then I conserve my data for, you know, when I'm out and about somewhere else. So it is a good tool to have if you are trying to conserve and trying to minimize the amount of data you're using on your phone and allowing for your close network around you to also connect, right? It's also good for students if they're on the bus, traveling, going, commuting to school and back to read up their assignments, be on Google Classroom. It's a very handy tool to have.
And there are deals on the MiFi.
And it's going for $199. right now.
And just to give some more details, you buy your MiFi, you get 4,000 megabytes of data. So you're definitely set up for a few days if you're an extensive
and 4,000
user.
megabytes of data is a lot.
That
I think
is
I
a
get
lot.
that. I think I get that about that on my phone every month, and I don't think I use all of it. And I'm on my data most of the time.
And for those people that are concerned, you know, we have this promo bundle when you purchase your MiFi. How you get other data is you can either have a prepaid or a postpaid plan. And you can, if you have a prepaid plan, you just upload credit and you buy using our data transfer method. So you can buy a bundle as low as 14 and as high as you would desire.
And this is again countrywide.
Countrywide in all 11 showrooms.
I know you're not finished yet, so continue to tell me about your deals.
There is one more thing that apart from the deals and what we're offering for Valentine, and this is moving towards our 18th anniversary. We're 17 years old. On March 29th, Smart will officially be 18 years old, and we have commenced the journey to our anniversary date. And after Hurricane Lisa, this project has been in the pipeline for some time, and but after Hurricane Lisa, you know, it was the perfect time to launch it. We would have waited more until our anniversary came up, but we had so many people that were affected by Hurricane Lisa, and so we made a decision to start early and to select a Smart customer that is in need of a house who was affected by the hurricane. And so we partnered with Hand in Hand Ministries. It's our first partnership for a housing project, but definitely not the first time working with Hand in Hand. And we started to get on the road and to see who qualifies. And we had several people apply that met the criteria. But, you know, this project is a partnership project with Hand in Hand. It's not just Smart's decision. It's not just Hand in Hand decision. And so together with Hand in Hand personnel, we visited 4 applicants that met the qualifications, or at least that were able to enroll in the program. And it was a very, very, very hard decision to select just one. But we made that decision, and Francesca Howers is the recipient of the Smart Hand in Hand home. And we visited her on a day that she did not expect us to do so. And I shared with you guys a video of what her reaction was like and how her journey has commenced. So she lives with her dad and 2 kids, and she is expected to, her role in this partnership is for her to get her land ready. And she will be building it next to her dad, and we will be with her the entire step of the way, along with Hand in Hand, to assist her move through this journey and make sure that she is ready for that foundation to go down, and for the Smart staff to come in with her and assist her in actually building the house for, I think it's March 11th, around March 11th weekend. And then for our anniversary, we will be handing over that keys and have a very welcoming home opening for her and blessing. So we're very excited about that. And I think the thing we love the most about this, many times, you know, we come on the media, we say Smart is giving away this, we're giving away a house makeover, we're giving away a shopping sprees, we're giving away so many prizes for summer sweepstakes. But this time, it's not just giving away, it's a partnership with Hand in Hand, but more so with the recipient, because there is an involvement that she is fully immersified in and I think that adds to her saying, you know, I helped myself to get this home. It just wasn't given to me. There are several, you know, things that the partnership stipulates by Hand in Hand, which is she's not just receiving a home, but she's also assisting Hand in Hand in building a home for somebody else. And then there is, and I think my favorite part, the Saturday sessions that she'll be attending to develop herself, her character, her skill sets. And Hand in Hand offers those classes, those training sessions on Saturdays, the first Saturday of every month. And this Saturday that passed was her first session. And you know, these sessions are of important topics such as hygiene, finance and budgeting skills, cooking skills, you name it, and it goes on. So it's a very beautiful program, and I, on behalf of SMART, I'd just like to commend Hand in Hand. They've been doing this for years. I think when I was in college, we came down to Belize to make, to do an immersion trip with houses. So it's a very organized plan, and we're very grateful to partner with them to do something like this.
When or how long will this process take, more or less? Is it something that you guys are hoping to uncover by the end of the year?
This home will be built March 11th.
Okay.
And we will be handing over the keys on the 29th of March for our anniversary. And so this is the first housing project that we are participating in. And we do believe it's the first of many to come, right?
Wow. So SMART really is bringing people together.
Absolutely.
Definitely. It goes back to one of our key pillars, which is community. So we not only like to give back, give customers the best offers, but we like to also at times help those in need.
Right.
And that's something that we always focus on. So, you know, during this time, we know that people are struggling with inflation, with these different economic factors that are tightening their pockets. So I always try our best to power their dollar and to make sure that they are getting the best for their experience and for their money.
The house that come with free Wi-Fi from SMART.
I don't think it's needed at this moment, because she does have smart broadband, and that's one of the reasons she qualified as a SMART customer.
Okay,
and
so she was already a part of your
family. Yes, she was already a part of our family. But we are not just handing her the house. You know, we will ensure that she has something to start the furnishing of the home as well. You know, we're better than just handing over the house, but we also
just a shell is not
right.
Just
we also are looking into what we can do, and more importantly, our SMART staff will be involved in that process. So we're very excited for March. We're a little over a month away, and that journey has started. So we're going to be with her every single step of the way. I think right now she's working on starting to clear the property where the home will be, and so we're going to be there with her.
And that is all wrapping up your sweet deals that you offer.
It is the month of love, and so we've always spread the love, and it's go big or go home this time for us.
Is this initiative going to be something that you all plan to do yearly, or is it just...
We are planning to do it yearly, and we're crossing fingers that all of that goes well.
Wow. Final words? Any other sweet deals that we miss out?
There is another sweet deal that's coming up. I think it will be out on social media by tomorrow, maybe today. So we don't want to give too much away. All we can say is, you know, we have something for our prepaid customers right now. We have amazing sweet deals for Valentine, for your loved one, for your family, for your children, for your mom, for your dad, for everybody. And we do have our postpaid plans that will have an amazing, sweeter deal when we let it out. And so we want to encourage the public to stay tuned to social media. It may go out today. It may go out tomorrow morning. We're pushing for today, but the postpaid customers, or those who may want to upgrade from prepaid to postpaid, something is coming even better.
Even sweeter.
Even better, even sweeter. Sure. For the postpaid plans, right? And it's a deal that you don't want to miss. Right.
All right, so you heard it here. For the month of February, there's lots of deals at SMART. So if you haven't bought anything for your Valentine yet, you should head on and take advantage of some of those.
Swap your SIM.
swap your SIM, buy a device.
Or wait for the new postpaid.
Or wait, okay, yes. So stay tuned, so keep your eyes on Smart to see what's happening.
What is the name of the winner one more time for our viewers?
Francesca, for the home?
Yes.
Francesca Howards.
Francesca Howards, congratulations and all the best in your future endeavors and your new home with possibly smart Wi-Fi. But thank you, Adelaide. Thank you, Cavani, so much for coming in. And with that, we're going to take another break. And I think that I will beat Gavin at cake decorating.
You definitely will.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Full-Tech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Today we're here shopping at B-Mart. Today we're making the green super smoothie. Let's get after it.
Galenia Hospital, located in Cancun, Mexico's premier tourism destination, is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility that provides highly specialized medical services. We are Quintana Roo's biggest private hospital with board-certified doctors and staff. Some of our services include cath lab, adult intensive care unit, neonatal intensive care unit, emergency rooms, operating theaters, ambulance services, and more. We are a medically accredited hospital by JCI, Accreditation Canada International, and General Health Council, providing extraordinary care in every specialty, from our cardiology department to our neurology center. We are focused on treating the entire person, body, mind, and spirit. Contact us at medicaltourism@hospitalgalenia.com or visit our website at www.hospitalgalenia.com. Come to Galenia Hospital in Cancun for a truly personal medical care experience.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. Smart, your full-service communication provider.
Hi, I am Maria Sobaydayam from the beautiful Vachakan village, Corozal district. I am a proud teacher for the Corozal Community College and also proud and satisfied customer for Development Finance Corporation of Belize. My experience with DFC, it started in 1997 when I first went to ask for assistance for a student loan so I could complete my bachelor's degree in biology. And thankfully it was approved, and so as a result of that I was able to finish my studies. Being the institution that would provide what I needed, I then applied for a loan to do an extension at my house so that I could better accommodate myself and my 4 girls. I am so thankful to Mr. Che who assisted me in getting a reduced interest rate of 7.5%, which when you look at it, it is a significant amount that I am able to save when it comes to my payment. I was able to get an additional amount so that I would build my upstairs, which is something that I had wanted to do long time ago. And so finally now I have my upstairs. I am able to accommodate my growing family, which is my daughter with her husband and my first grandson downstairs. And of course now I have much more space for myself and my other girls upstairs. And so as a family, I can say that DFC has improved my quality of life by giving me the opportunity to do the projects that I have wanted to do, and I can say that I am satisfied up to now.
Back, and I am seeing a lot of pastries, cakes, and so forth, and that means that we are about to do our cake decorating challenge with none other than Vanessa Alvarez from Just Because Cakes by Vanessa. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, please tell me what I do today.
Okay, so first of all, you guys are gonna color your own icing.
Okay. Oh,
we have pink and red.
Okay.
One does the red and one does the pink. That way, when we do the little hearts, you guys have one color each.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. So let's.
So one drop.
This is a pink.
This is the. I'll take
That's
the pink.
the pink. Whatever shade you want is fine. 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop.
Do 3.
The red needs a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
So then
Because
that
for
wasn't a
it,
mistake.
yes.
So then we mix.
Yes,
with-
and then you
Okay.
mix with
Alright.
this, and then
Okay, so this is step
So
one. Step one,
step one
easy enough.
is easy. So far, so good. And
Alright.
so Vanessa, let's talk about Just Cakes. Just Because Cakes. You established yourself a little while ago, and you're still working as an online store.
Yes, I
So
am.
let's talk about your involvement from cookie decorating to cake decorating. Yeah, let's talk about your cake decorating skills. How did you learn? Why are we doing this today?
Well, the thing is, well, I first started like I mentioned back in the first time I was here. I started back when the quarantine started. well, right after, once the lockdown was done, I did my courses, and it's been fun ever since. It's been fun ever since.
You still have the kids come in to decorate?
Yeah. Well, they don't like it.
Oh, really?
and they're gonna eat the cake. They're gonna eat cake, but to this point, they're tired of it. They don't.
I mean,
yeah, because every time I make cakes, they eat the dome of the cake.
The dome
of the cake. So everybody, I think everybody in the house is kind of.
They're over it. Yeah, they're over it. But you do catering for your customers, so they order online. Have you done big events and stuff for cookie decorating? Do you do like parties where we can decorate cakes, decorate cookies?
Well, so far I haven't been there yet.
Okay.
Because I'm mostly stationed at home.
Okay.
I have 3 kids, and that's basically my responsibility. And yeah, and it's perfect because that's the only way I'm able to control my time.
Okay, so is this good?
That's perfect.
Are you good?
That's nice.
Nice,
All right.
Okay, good.
Perfect. So now what do we do?
Okay, so what you're gonna do is now you're gonna put it in the little piping
bag.
Yes.
Okay.
That's just to prep the piping bag, and then you can just, yeah, there you go. See?
So
yeah.
See?
So.
There you go.
Oh.
All right, so yeah, so for some of our viewers who might be watching, we also just got introduced to this little trick. If you're into cake decorating, or if you want to try for the first time, and you want to like actually pipe stuff on, you can use this little trick where you put the bag in a glass, and then you just.
And this is something that I learned eventually with
that.
time.
Yeah, this is not something that I knew how to do.
Exactly. So now you're gonna grab, and you're just gonna kind of. Get it in and then put it aside because you don't need it yet.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Same.
Now, you guys have this to share.
Okay.
So, this turns.
Yeah.
All you're gonna do is do this, and you're gonna crumb coat first.
Okay.
You crumb coat so that the little crumbs don't come off and
on the edges.
Yes, and then they show on the actual cake when it's already decorated.
Okay.
So you're gonna crumb coat it.
And how do I know when
you
it's
just
enough?
scrape
It's
it
just to
off.
scrape it off?
Yes, it's just to keep the crumbs in place. That's it.
Okay.
Before you start actually, see.
All right.
So every time you do this, you have to wipe your spatula unless your
so that you don't get
icing.
like extra crumbs.
Yes.
So what if I don't have these kinds of equipment at home? What can I use to, to substitute?
I'm just gonna start to join
Yeah,
in
go
while you
ahead,
do
because
it.
I think that Vanessa don't make her win already.
No, yeah,
Okay,
because
so
you're getting
that's
extra
all I'm
help.
gonna do. Crumb coat, and then you can continue with the
Right.
rest.
So for those
There.
that don't have these kinds of equipment at home, what can they use?
That's good. Like a really big knife, or
Yeah.
the professional.
I've actually I've used the table just like that. Or probably place it on a plate and kind of slide it in case you don't have it.
Yeah.
It is necessary because it makes your life much more easier.
Yeah, this turning table right here
Yes.
makes my life easy indeed. And how do I yeah, so like
So
I can
every
use
time
an-
every time you get icing, wipe it off. Yes.
Oh my gosh. All right,
there
say
you
it,
go.
Barty.
You're
This is
doing a
Emma.
great job, Gavin.
All right, if you say so.
I'm kind of cheating.
What we?
Because you have to turn your plate, you have to turn it.
Yes, we're
like
doing
this?
all of that.
We're doing all of that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Are we succeeding?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
My version. So
as we are doing this,
Yeah,
how
it
many
looked
coats
like this, yeah.
does it need per se? What would you advise?
It's not about 1, 2, 3 coats.
Okay.
It's about just adding.
as smooth as possible. So it's like as smooth as possible. all right.
Yes.
Okay.
Adding
So,
as
I'm
much
trying
as
to
you
get
can,
some of
and
this
then not
extra.
scraping off as much like you're doing it right now.
Okay.
All right, so.
And
This
you
is
need a light
great.
hand. You need a light hand because if you notice the weapon ice is very soft.
It is, yeah.
And it's very easy to apply on the cake, which is actually my favorite icing when it comes to my cakes.
This particular whipped?
Yes, because the only way I use buttercream is if I have complicated cakes to make.
Okay.
Because it holds the fondant much more better.
Better, okay. So it's like a glue?
Yeah.
Works like a glue.
This one is a little bit different. The fondant actually slides off of it because it's not as sturdy as the buttercream.
Okay. Wonderful. But this is just for a base, like you said, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to put fondant on this today. So where can we find Just Because Cakes?
Just Because Cakes is, I'm located on 70 Barak Road.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to order a cake, cupcakes, I try about everything. If I can't do it, I'll just say I can't.
Yeah,
and I won't lie.
Yeah.
You can contact me at 610-2437.
Pretty sure I'm not doing this correctly, but I love the fact that the table spins, and I'm taking full-blown advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know what I did when I first started? I couldn't get the cake to be this perfect.
Yeah, because those look, I mean...
it takes time. It takes time, and it takes a few tries to actually get it there. So I would just start doing waves because I could not get the icing to be as smooth as it is on these two.
I mean, that's kind of
just
what
like
I'm doing right now. Yeah.
Oh, so we're supposed to get it to
because it camouflages the
mistake.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna need a lot more.
I'm trying to get my. I just want to cover all of like the brown spots, but I feel like I'm taking too much time.
And you know, it's not a bad idea because then it becomes a nude cake.
Ooh. Yeah, see, I'm good at that.
Because decorating is not really
it becomes a nude cake. So if you take off more, and it just becomes a nude cake.
Okay, see? Tricks in the bag here with Vanessa. Okay, I think I covered enough. What do you think? What do you think?
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
All right.
It's all right for my first time ever doing it. Great. Wonderful. She sounds disappointed. You know, just a little bit. But how do you get it to be perfect like the ones that you have right there on the...
You want me to try it?
No, because I want to beat Gavin.
No. You have to.
I want to beat Gavin fair and square. But yeah, how do you get it? Like, what's the technique?
Okay, well, my technique for for somebody that hasn't done cake decorating or anything, you use a piping bag and you just fill it up, and then you go around the cake. Once it's covered with the icing, then you go around with the spatula, which I actually use this big one.
Okay.
Because that's much easier for me.
Yeah. Are you doing these kinds of decorating activities for Valentine's Day? Yes?
No.
But you already have cakes decorated for Valentine's Day.
I have a few orders, yes. I have a few orders.
Okay, and if they want to order from you, where can they find you?
They can call me or send me a WhatsApp on 610-2437.
Okay.
Or find me at on Facebook, Just Because Cakes by Vanessa.
Okay.
And
take it from there.
Yeah.
And how long do they have to order before? Like, what's the timeline?
Okay, so what happened to me this Christmas, because this was my first busy season, I 1 week to 2 weeks in advance when it's a busy season.
Okay.
If it's not, then 3 days before is just fine.
Okay.
Paying 50% deposit to secure your order.
And and you said earlier that, like you said, you'll try almost anything. So like, do you have like any like classics or like ones that
you know, one of my favorite cakes is the carrot cake.
Oh,
I love a carrot cake.
My husband has the best recipe. I have to brag.
Okay.
He made it Belizean.
Okay, well, you
How?
know.
He added instead of adding regular oil, he added coconut oil.
Ooh.
And it made
a huge
the
difference.
cake so much better.
Okay.
Okay, nice.
So you decorate the carrot cake.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And you use the cream cheese
Yes,
frosting.
I actually use the same whip on ice. I just add Philadelphia,
Yeah.
cream cheese. That's it.
Wonderful. All right, what do you think?
It looks pretty.
Okay.
I like it.
Great.
All right, I'm
Next
almost
step.
done.
He wants his one fully covered.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe I need to scrape some edges here.
This is
'cause
like
the competition
mainly,
is real.
This is
It's a
Alyssa
little
mainly
tough,
like
a little stiff.
I'm mainly covering up all my mistakes.
You're covering
so
all
I
your
just,
mistakes?
Just like add more frosting.
Yeah, that's the idea.
He has a
right?
softer hand. I like it.
Yeah, he's very he's a baker.
Yeah?
He is.
Yeah.
So that
helps him.
That helps him,
I'm
yes.
I'm trying. All right, so let's go. And
Listen,
then the top.
do not judge me. Vianna is out there in the outskirts judging me, and I don't appreciate it. Viewers, and just for the record, okay? She did judge my cake baking, decorating skills. I don't like it. All right, listen. We all have our skills, and cake decorating is not mine. That is.
I don't think the cookie decorating is.
I'm not a decorator. I'm not a decorator. I am more for the flavor. If it tastes good, I good.
All right, so I think we've got enough. Or I do at this point.
Yes, I think I have enough.
My cake is like almost double in size by this point.
with the frosting.
Yeah. So yeah, all right. So I think this is okay. How is this all right?
That's nice.
All right.
I like that she don't want to tell me the truth. Next step?
Yes, next step.
All right, next step. So let's put this one in here.
Okay.
Get it out of the way. Now, you guys, I'm not that patient, but all right. So you guys can just kind of stamp it.
Okay. I create a stencil.
Yes, and create the shape.
Oh, and then
you can change it if you want.
Okay.
And
okay.
And then this is where the piping comes in.
This is where the piping comes in.
All right. So let's.
Now you're gonna grab, and this is gonna be a very. I'll show you just one. Yes.
Yeah, this is fine.
And you lift up. That's it.
So it's not tracing.
And you go.
It's piping.
Yes.
So it's like
up, and release. Yes.
Oh, this will be bad.
And
It's
just
not gonna
follow
end
the
well
line.
for any of us, Vanessa.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're good. So you're gonna grab. Just kind of grab this from here so it doesn't squeeze out. Yes. And you're gonna grab.
Nervous. Look at my hand just
This one is
shaking.
softer because of the
Red food color.
Yes, it made it so much more softer. But that's basically the idea.
Okay.
I am already failing at this, and that's fine. I'm not really nervous to pipe this.
Steady hands.
Nobody
let
look
it
at
go. Yes, and let it go.
I thought.
Press on the cake and then let it go.
I'm making.
I'm like, I know that I'm not saying anything because I'm super concentrated.
I know I'm trying to be too.
But it's not working out. And that's okay. I have accepted my fate. I am not a cake decorator.
Oh, that's fine. That's why I'm here. So you can call me.
Okay. But I like this as an activity for like parties and get-togethers. This is really fun. I mean, after the anxiety and the nerves.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah, just to
That's a
have
good
kids
idea.
decorate at their parties. This is really a good idea. So for Valentine's Day, any specials coming out
Madonna,
from?
Of course.
You're gonna, of course.
From
It's okay,
Vanessa?
no, we will find a way to fix this.
You can salvage it. I know you can, Gavin. I believe in you. Yeah, any Valentine specials coming out this week? This next 2 weeks?
Well, I was planning on doing smaller ones. These ones, the ones that I was planning on making, they actually fit. They fit on the little disposable burger boxes. They're so much more smaller than this. It's personalized for one person only.
I could breathe now a little bit. I was holding my breath the entire time. That no look like a heart.
We are going. Hey, we're not done.
We're not done? Okay,
So-
okay. Let's do this then, Gavin.
We're gonna, or I'm not done.
Okay.
We are.
I am following suit.
I am gonna make this
work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where you're going?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we done.
We done?
All right, we're past. No.
Oh, okay.
You know what we're gonna do?
We will be. It's over until Gavin says it's over, and I've never seen this competitive side of him, and I'm excited.
No, what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna fill in the heart because.
Oh, that's a good idea.
See, you have
Nice.
to improvise
Yes.
sometimes, right?
I've had to improvise in several occasions.
Yeah.
Can imagine that.
And then I find myself sometimes in the middle of the night, kind of like, oh my God, I kind of messed up this order. So now I have to wait for everything to open up and buy my stuff again. And
I mean, I feel like if I fill this in, it's not gonna look like a heart, but that's okay. At this end of the day, it's a blob with a pink.
There we
go. Circle.
And then
half a heart.
Make it a little bit more smooth. And now we have.
Wow, Gavin. I like the fact that you improvised.
See,
because due to the amount of coloring that went in, it made it softer.
Make it soft, yeah. So.
You know what?
See?
This looks like a heart, that doesn't, and that's okay.
There we go. Made with love.
Valentine's Day is upon us. Now can I decorate with other things?
Well, I have a couple hearts here. I have some sprinkles.
Let's do some sprinkles.
Some little mini.
Yeah.
Let's do some. Oh! It's a lot of sprinkles.
Yeah.
Here, Gavin.
Okay. Let me. I'm just gonna use my hands. Just gonna go in there with it.
I'm just going for it. I've accepted that I'm not a decorator, so this is just me basically accepting my fate.
Around it. Yeah.
I'm not creative. All right. Some to the side.
Hey!
See, again, I'm quiet because I'm like here concentrating.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. You just kind of like.
Yeah, slap it onto the side. Just
like this.
Ready? Ready?
Oh,
and.
Ah.
All right, yeah, this is actually working for me, so I'm gonna keep doing that.
Slapping it on.
I'm more like I like to dash it on.
And then I need a stand because I'm basically
just to dash them on.
Just dashing them all over.
This is my technique.
Gavin has the technique down. Boom.
Nice.
Cake. I just want to eat it. So, Just Because Cakes by Vanessa, one more time for our viewers, how can they find you? Where are you located? What are your social media handles?
I am located on 70 Barak Road.
Okay.
You can contact me on at 610-2437 and on Facebook under Just Because Cakes by Vanessa.
Just Because Cakes by Vanessa. Gavin has won this round.
I'm still not done.
Oh, he's still not done, but I have given up. Here. And I just want to eat my cake.
All right.
No, I brought it for you.
Wonderful.
I mean, you kind of touched that one, so it's yours.
Just Because Cakes by Vanessa. Look her up for cake baking and cake decorating and cookie decorating. And of course, right now in the busy season, you can always drop her a line at her different locations, her social media and her WhatsApp. And make sure that you order on time before Valentine's Day. Vanessa, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you guys for inviting me
so,
again.
Hearts at this side.
Yeah, so
it looks like a Mickey Mouse cake.
Aww.
Exactly. So this could work for any.
This could work for any occasion.
All right. Well, congrats, guys.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Did we do better?
Yeah.
Okay.
For our
wonderful.
first time, yeah.
We'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Deja mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
The Social Security Board, in collaboration with the Labor Department, takes this opportunity to remind insured persons of the requirements for compensation when on sick leave. Any employee who has worked with an employer for at least 2 months is entitled to 16 working days of sick leave
with full pay every year. This is how it works. Upon approval of a sickness or injury benefit claim by SSB, 80% of the employee's weekly insurable earnings is paid as a Social Security benefit, and the difference in the employee's salary is paid by the employer. This is to ensure that the employee does not suffer any loss of wages when ill. After 16 days, compensation for sick leave is paid as a Social Security benefit only. Some conditions apply. This message is brought to you by the Social Security Board and the Labor Department. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video, or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
And we are back. Wrapping up Tuesday, Gavin.
Yeah,
wow.
And it's been a jam-packed show today.
It's been a jam-packed show today. Of course, we want to thank all of our guests for coming in, starting with the new standard bearer for the UDP in Belmopan, John Saldivar. Thank you so much for coming in this morning to give us a little bit of a snippet of your plans now that you have officially won for your campaign. And of course, we want to say a big thank you to Caribbean Exports and Beltrade for coming in and discussing their new innovative training, between Beltrade and the Caribbean, and how Belize can strengthen their ties in terms of import and export resources here in Belize through MSMEs and other business entities.
Yep, and then we were joined by representatives from Smart, and they were talking about all of the sweet deals that they've got going on for February and Valentine's Day. There's a whole bunch that were going on. And of course, if you want to take advantage of any of those, you can visit any of their locations countrywide and find out some more information if you need it on their social media pages.
Wonderful. And Gavin, of course, we ended things off with Just Because Cakes by Vanessa. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we did pretty good.
Yeah, I think we did good. For
first ever time, trying to decorate a cake. Yeah, so you saw April and I go through a little bit of a trial just now. But yeah, so we want to thank Vanessa for coming in and talking to us a little bit about her business, but also for teaching us some of the basics, and I emphasize basic, of cake decoration for Valentine's Day.
Of course. And before we go, of course, we have a birthday shout out, and we want to say a very special happy birthday to
Garrett Samuels.
Happy birthday, Gar. Hope you have a wonderful day today, and this birthday shout out comes from your family and your friends, and of course from all of us here at Open Your Eyes and Channel 5. Have a wonderful day, Garrett. We wish you many more birthdays to come. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or comment, you can always drop us a line right here at oie@channel5beliefs.com.
You can also find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and on Instagram at OIE Belize.
And of course, you can always tune in again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your heart open. And there we go.
And your hearts open. Tomorrow we are coming to you live from the Grand Caribe in San Pedro, so you don't want to miss that show. We'll tell you more about it tomorrow. Stay tuned.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.